In today's lecture, we will see how to represent PDA graphically. Then we will move to instantaneous description of PDA. In short, we will call it as ID. Then we will see some examples, how to design PDA and all. Okay. So here, first is that how to represent a PDA graphically. Fine. So you can see this is the PDA. It is having three states, namely Q0, Q1 and Q2, where Q0 is the initial state and Q2 is the final state. Now first point says that the node corresponds to the states of the PDA. Right, so we all know that in case of finite automata the scenario was exactly same. To represent the states we used some nodes, and inside the circle we used to write the name of the state, right? An arrow labeled start indicates the start state. This is also similar to finite automata, and doubly circled states are accepting as for finite automata. The same for finite automata, it is called accepting state, or you may call it as final state, or it can be more than one as well. Now here lies the difference. Here an arc labeled a comma x slash alpha from state Q to state P means that delta of this triplet contains the pair P comma alpha. What is the meaning of it? As we have seen in our previous lecture, that here a transition function is described by three entities instead of two entities, as we have seen in case of finite automata. What are those? First one is Q, means the start state or the previous state or the current state where the machine is now lying, right? A is the input fed into the machine, and X is the content of the stack, right? Means the topmost element of the stack. We are dealing with the topmost element because none other elements is not accessible. We can access only the top element, right? So these three describes the transition function, and P comma alpha means on feeding this input, means on feeding A to the state Q and having the stack content as X, it will move to the new state P and will change the stack top or stack content with alpha, right? As for example, if you see in the example, say 0 comma z0 slash 0 z0, what is the meaning of it? Here Q0 will be equivalent to Q, A is 0, X is what? The current stack content, Z0. Z0 means there is nothing in the stack. We have described, or we have seen that Z0 indicates that it is the empty stack, or to denote the initial condition of the stack we will use Z0. Okay, then alpha will correspond to 0 Z0, means the current content of the stack will be Z0. Above it we will put 0, we will push 0, so the current content will be Z0, above it 0. Fine, so the meaning is clear. Now next point says the arc label tells what input is used and also gives the old and new tops of the stack, right? So you can see here what is the old content of the stack, what is the new content of the stack. Everything is clear from the diagram or this triplet notation. Fine. Now we will see instantaneous descriptions of a PDA. Few of the points we have already covered in our previous lecture, but still to cover the syllabus we will just have a look on it. Okay, we'll just revise it. Intuitively the PDA goes from configuration to configuration in response to input symbols. Configuration means nothing, in our language it is states, right? So for any input symbol it may transit from one state to another, means it may change the configuration of stack as well, or sometimes epsilon, means there can be epsilon moves because we are dealing with epsilon NFA and a stack to it. Okay, unlike the finite automata, where the state is the only thing that we need to know about the automaton. The PDS configuration involves both the state and the contents of the stack. Here our here our idea is to, or we have to see both the input involved, both which is the state, what is the input involved, and also the content of the stack. But previously we were engaged with the present state and the input symbol only, but here we have to additionally we have to keep the content of the stack in our mind as well to show the transition. Fine. Being arbitrarily large, the stack is often the more important part of the total configuration of the PDA at any time, because here the management of the stack should be the most essential part, because at a time we will ultimately deal with a single state and a single input, but the content of the stack may be huge. We may keep on pushing, so the content of the stack may enhance, right? It may contain large amount of input symbols. Okay. It is also useful to represent as part of the configuration the portion of the input that remains. What is the meaning of it? Say we are dealing with the input string 1010111, right? Till now we have processed up to 10, so there is a remaining part of the string, so that we also have to keep in our mind, right? So PDA is represented by a triple Q, W, lambda, where Q is the state, W is the remaining input, and lambda is the stack contents. Among the W, there may be various symbols that we have already inserted or pushed into the stack. There may be something which we are dealing with, and the rest part is that part of string which we have not touched yet, we have not processed yet, so that is stored in W. Fine. The top of the stack at the left end of lambda and the bottom at the right end means it's very easy to understand. Whatever the lambda is, it is a stack content, so the top of the stack will be at the left and the bottom will be at the right, because we have kept all the symbols one by one inside the stack, so the bottom part will be the right end of W and the top will be the left end of lambda, right? Such a triple is called an instantaneous description or ID of the pushdown operator, right? So these three can describe a PDA at the end of the day. Okay, so seeing these three means the state and what is the remaining string that we need to process and what is the present stack content will describe a PDA. Fine. Now for finite automaton, the delta notation was sufficient to represent sequences of instantaneous descriptions through which a finite automaton moved, since the ID for a finite automaton is just each state, right? So for a finite automaton to describe, we have seen that in which state we are in, that ultimately describes the DFA or finite automaton, right? So whatever input we will feed into it, it will act accordingly, but here we have to combine more. However, the PDAs we need a notation that describes changes in the state, the input and the stack. Here we need a notation to describe, right? Because here we have to deal with both state, input and stack. Here only state and input combination cannot do anything. Stack is also a mandatory part or a vital part here. Thus we adopt a turnstile notation for connecting pairs of IDs that represent one or many moves of a PDA. What is turnstile notation? We will see in our next slide. We will use this notation throughout our PDA, whatever the portions of PDA we will learn in our syllabus. Throughout the lecture series or throughout our syllabus, we will use this turnstile notation. It's a very famous and it's a legal notation to describe PDA. Fine. So if you have to represent this PDA, namely P, it contains, we have described it formally, right? What Q means, what sigma means and all. I am not going to details again. Here you can see one symbol. This is called turnstile symbol. You may write a P just below it, you may not write it. Both are valid, fine. giving a turnstile symbol and write a P below it is also valid, and just writing the turnstile symbol is also valid. We will use only the turnstile symbol. Fine. When P is understood as follows, suppose we are having one transition named delta QAX. Right. Q is the state, A is the input, and X is the stack content, and it is being transited to the new state, namely P, and it has changed the stack content to alpha. Fine. Then for all strings W in sigma sigma is what? It's set of input symbols. So any string will be a combination of whatever the content of sigma is, right? It may be null, that's why star is given, and beta in tau star. Tau is what? Tau are the set of symbols which can be stored in the stack, right? Which are permissible symbols that we can store in the stack. So here we are considering one stack symbol as beta, which is a part of tau star, and another is your W is a combination of all the strings which is possible over the input alphabet. We will consider one string as A because we are feeding the input A. Fine. Now what we are doing, we are just processing a single input. Keep in your mind, we are just processing a single input in now, that is A. Then what we have described so far, we will use W to represent the part of the string which we have not processed yet, right? So whatever the string is, we have just picked A, and the remaining string is W, which we need to process later on. Fine. So here the state is Q, we are processing input A, remaining string is W, and the permissible stack content is what? X. We are dealing with the stack content, namely beta. Fine. And it is moving to the new state named P. The remaining string which we need to process till now is W, and we have pushed A already, right? So A has been added with beta. Done. And after adding this A to the stack content, it has changed the stack content to alpha. That's why we have written P comma W comma alpha beta, when previously beta was there, and on applying A to it, the stack content has changed to alpha, right? So alpha has been added to beta. Okay, this is a description of whatever I told you just now. Just look at it and go through once. I think it is easily understandable. Fine. Now here if we have to describe this ID, the concept of ID using the method of induction, it will be like this. We also use a symbol, means in our previous slide we have seen the turnstile symbol in two various ways. One is turnstile symbol, a P below it, and the turnstile symbol itself. But here you may also use star above it. It means nothing, because after repeated use of this transition, means from delta applying some input symbol on a particular state having some stack content, we will move to a new state and the stack content will be changed, and this will be carried out multiple number of times. That's why a star may be used. You may not use it. It is not mandatory to use the star. You may just use the turnstile symbol. You may use star. You may write P below. Whatever you wish, you can use. When the PDA P is understood to represent 0 or more moves to PDA. Okay, fine. It is doing what? We are considering any IDI. So it is changing the ID ultimately, right? Because the stack content will change, the state will change, and everything will change. So the triple form will change ultimately. The triple form means that Q may change, the remaining part, that is W, may change, and stack content may change. So it may move from one ID to another ID. Both are ID, that's why I to I, and applying the turnstile symbol or applying the transition multiple number of times. If we use the method of induction and we have to prove that after applying multiple number of transition, it will move generate one new ID j, right? Means from I it may move to some, it may change the ID to some, say I1. After from I1 it may change the ID to some I2, and in this way it will ultimately change the ID to j, if this is the situation occurs, then you can easily prove it by induction that we will just assume one id, namely k, and from I say it is moving to k, and from after repeated number of times it may move to j. In this fashion you may also describe that from I it is moving to k1, from k1 it is moving to k2, from k2 it is moving to k3. In this fashion ultimately it will move to j. So using the method of induction you can just prove it. Now if you remember, in our previous lecture we have seen an example. It was asking to design a PDA which was accepting the string, namely w followed by wr, means the string and reverse of it. We have designed a PDA in this fashion that previously we were in w and we kept on pushing the symbols inside the stack, and we were in the initial state only. Ultimately, after certain processing certain number of inputs, we made two arbitrary guesses. One guess was we just thought or we guessed that we have reached the middle portion of the string or exact end of w, right? Means w followed by w means we have reached the end of w, and based on that guess we moved from q0 to the next state, that is q1. Another guess was made that if this guess is wrong, then what will be the answer? That we have not reached the middle of the string, and we kept on pushing on q0 only. So this is we have designed here. This is the PDA will look like this. We are processing on the input, say 1111. You can say 1111 is the reverse of itself. If we consider w as 11 and w to the power r, or reverse of w as 11, then fine, it is okay. So what we have designed, since q0 is the start state and z0 is the start symbol means the initial content of the stack is z0 and q0 is the start state. So initial id will be what? What is my state? Current state q0. What is the unprocessed input? Total input has not been processed yet, right? So 1111. Now, and what is the stack content? That is z0. On this input, the PDA has an opportunity to guess wrongly several times. Obviously, it may first guess that it will move to the new state, it may remain in the same state, whatever. So, what are the guesses possible? Right, so and which path is ultimately the right path? After guess, so many guesses are all possible guesses. We have to ultimately have to come out with the correct path to design the PDA. So that total paths we will see here. See, this diagram describes whatever the paths are possible. I will describe 2-3 paths how I have designed. Rest you can easily understand. If you can understand these 3 or 4 points, the rest is very clear. Fine. The entire sequence of IDs that the PDA can reach from the initial ID q0 1111 z0 is shown in the figure. This arrow represents the relation, means we have just here we have designed this diagram to describe all the possible combinations. Now we'll explain one by one. Okay. From the initial ID, there are two choices of movement. The first guess that the middle has not seen and leads to ID q0 1111 z0. Why? Because we are guessing that we have not reached the middle. So if we have not reached the middle of the string, what we will do? We will keep on pushing. We will remain in q0 only and will keep on pushing the input symbols into the stack, right? So if the first ID, that is q0 comma 1111 comma z0 is fade, and we guessed that we have not reached the middle of the string, what will be the output? We will push 1 inside the stack and 3 will remain, right? So q0 comma 111 comma the new stack content is 1 z0. Z0 was there, the initial part of the stack, and we have pushed 1 above z0. Done. In effect, a 1 has been removed from the input and pushed onto the stack. Fine. Now the second choice from the initial ID guesses that the middle has been reached. This can be another choice. So if we think that we have reached the middle, we will not push anything to the stack, we will just transit to the next state, because here what is needed, if we guess that we have reached the middle, our popping operation should be started, so we have to make one transition, right? So what it does, without consuming input, the PDA goes to the next state Q1 leading to ID. What the new ID will be, Q0 will change to Q1, the input or the untouched string on unprocessed string will be the same, that is 1111, and the stack content will remain 00 only, because I have not posted anything to it. Since the PDA may accept if it is in state Q1 and sees it not on top of its stack, the PDA goes from there to ID Q21111 Z0, because here it will see that it has made a transition and nothing remains in the stack, right? It may has the guess, because only content of stack, if we have reached the bottom of the stack, what is the ultimate theory says, if we can see that we have reached the bottom of the stack, means we will just make the string accepted, so it will move to Q2 only, right? Q2 is the final state. That ID is not exactly an accepting ID, since the input has not been completely consumed. Here we have not consumed an input and does nothing and just move to the final state, so this is a wrong path, we will not go through it ultimately, right? Had the inputs in epsilon rather than 1111, the same sequence of moves would have led to ID Q2 epsilon Z0, which would say that is accepted. Means if my input string is epsilon in place of 1111, this path was correct, right? So if the input is epsilon, what it means, it has nothing to push, nothing to do, ultimately it is an accepted string, because epsilon is empty string, is the reverse of itself, no issue, so we can follow this path in this. But since our input is 1111, we cannot follow this path, okay, right? The PDA may also guess that it has seen the middle after reading 11. What can it do? See the just second line here, from Q0, if we have first case was correct, right, ultimately, so we have not reached the middle and we just pushed 1 inside stack, and this is the content. Now from this situation, it can guess that it has reached middle, and another guess is possible, it has not reached the middle. So in this fashion, if you see, this branching are possible, and whatever branching I have written in the last 2 or 3 lines, that is the ultimate correct design of PDA. So the following this guess and check paradigm, we can design the PDA. Okay, now these 3 principles you have to keep in mind. We all know ultimately, but still we have to keep it in our mind. What it says, there are 3 important principles about IDs and their transitions that we shall need in order to reason about PDAs. If a sequence of IDs is legal for a PDA-P, then the computation formed by adding the same additional input string to the end of the input in each ID is also legal. What is the meaning of it? Say we have designed one ID, let us consider the previous example. We have done it using a string 1111. This does not mean that this PDA, whatever PDA we are describing or whatever ID we are using to describe our PDA, that is not going to accept only the string 1111, right? So if you add any string after it, or if you use any similar string which is a reverse, means which follows whatever the condition they are asking for, everything is going to accept by that ID. So you have to design the ID accordingly. It should not be restricted to anything. It should satisfy whatever the combinations are possible for these W followed by WR. Everything should be accepted. If a computation is legal for a PDA-P, then the computation formed by adding the same additional stack symbols below the stack in each ID is also legal. It says the same thing. Okay. If a computation is legal for a PDA-P and some tail of the input is not consumed, then we can remove this tail from the input in each ID, and the resulting computation will still be legal. Say we have designed a ID which is satisfying ultimately everything, but we have added some extra component to that ID. Means whatever design we have designed so far, we have added some extra input symbols to it after the stack, so we can just remove it. Those are unnecessary things that this point says. Now we will see three examples, 3 or 4, I don't remember. Okay, let us see how many examples are there. Fine. So if we have to design a PDA, namely a to the power n, b to the power n, where n is greater than 0, what we are doing here, we are just accepting those strings where number of a and number of b are equal. Now it should be followed by, means first a followed by b, and the number of that is a and number of a's and number of b's should be greater than 0. Okay. Here, so in initial state, if for your reference, I have used z here instead of z naught. You may use z naught as well to show the initial condition of the stack. Okay, so if first symbol is a, and I am talking of the self loop over q naught and the second choice first. Okay, so if we have fed a to the machine and the initial content is z naught, we will do what? We will just push a. So the current content will be a followed by z. If the again a is pushed, so what will be the our movement? We will keep on pushing. Whatever the number of a's come here, we will keep on pushing, right? So the next content will be a. Do not think that we are pushing 2 a's only. Since it's a self loop, it will keep on moving, right? So this will be done for whatever the number of a is. Now once we look into b, what is our job? Once we have seen b, we will transit to new state and we will do what? We will do pop operation. See, epsilon is given. Epsilon means what? Popping, right? Why we are popping? Because whenever we are encountering b, for each b we have to keep on popping each a. So if number of b finishes and the stack content comes to z, we can say that number of b's and number of a's are equal. Okay. Now after reaching q1, as many as b it gets, it will keep on popping a, and ultimately when it finds epsilon, means no content of string remains, means the part of w becomes null. Please remember, we used w to represent the remaining portion of the string which we have not processed yet, right? When it will become epsilon, the content of the stack will be z naught, it will remain z naught and it will be accepted, so it will move to qf. Okay, next example says w n of a w equals to n of b w, means what? Number of a's in w is equals to number of b's in w. Fine. So this can be the choices. Okay, do not get confused with the previous example. Please remember, there was one more restriction. The string should start with a and end with b. Here it may start with a, start with b, right? Both are possible because we have to count the number of a's and number of b's only. We are not restricting the string how it will look like. Okay, so if just look at q naught, the topmost two possible choices. If we see a and the initial content of stack is z naught, we will just push it. If we see b and the initial content is z naught, we will push it. If we see a, after a we will push it. If we see b, after a b we will push it. But if the choice is like this, after a we have seen b, we will pop it, and if after a b we see a, we will again, means for the alternate sequence, if a b this kind of strings are there, or after whatever, means after any b if we see a we will pop, after any a if we see b we will pop, same thing. Okay, everything can be done in a particular state, because here we are just counting. If the situation is like this, that after a b follows or something like this, a to the power n, b to the power m, c to the 1, d to the 1, this kind of situations are there, then please make a transition. Since we are counting here, we can be on the same state only. Okay, now when we will see the content of w gets emptied, then nothing remains of the string, we will just move to the final state. See, okay, this example I was talking about, it says a to the power n, b to the power n, c to the power m, n and m greater than equals to 0. Just have a look at the variables. Do not think that we are comparing both A, B and C. C is not a part of comparison here. We are just comparing number of A's with number of B's. C is separated, right? C has no relation with A and B here. Yes, it has a relation that the string should start with A, middle B and end with C. I'm not talking of it. The number of A's and number of B's should be equal here, but that this numbering has no comparison or no relation with C. C can be of any number, but A and B should be of equal number. Fine. So in the same fashion, if we see A here and the initial content is Z not, we will push A. On seeing another A, we will push A. Once we see B, we will pop A and move to the new state. And the number of B's we encounter here, we will keep on popping A and will remain on Q1 only. On seeing a C, we will just move to another state and will keep on be there. Okay. You may get confused that while we are transiting from Q1 to QF, why the stack content is Z naught comma Z naught, because we have already popped all A, right, for each B, and we have not pushed B at the stack because no need. We have to keep in memory only the number of A's we have encountered, so that part we are pushing only. For on seeing each B, we have popped A and comparison is done, so the stack content will be null only, right. On reaching QF, we will, as many C, whatever you see, keep on means just have a look, means we will just keep on processing C. We do not need to remember what the number of C's we have visited so far, so no pushing is done. Fine. This is another example: A to the power n, B to the power m, C to the power n. Just see here the comparison is done between A and C, and B is separated, right. It is easily understandable. The start thing will be same. If we see A and the stack is empty, we will push A. If we see a number of A's, whatever in the first, it will keep on pushing. Once a B is seen, B with C here, we are not popping A. We are just with the B, we are moving to the next state, but we are not pushing B into the stack because we do not need to remember the number of B's we have visited. See, the stack content is not changing. A/A remains. Only number of whatever number of B's you are counting, just keep on in a state and keep on counting it. Okay. As when we have seen a single C, see, we are popping A/epsilon means we are popping A. And with this transition, we have moved to another state. We kept on popping A as many C's are visited. We will keep on popping A. Once the stack becomes empty, we will move to the final state. Fine. This is the end of this lecture. You may go through more examples if you wish so, and in the next class we will see the equivalence. This is a very important part. Okay, thank you.